The number of military and energy facilities destroyed in Russia is rapidly increasing. If you look at the map of Russia, you can see that flames are rising almost everywhere in the country after strikes by Ukrainian drones and missiles. This is also confirmed by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine officially announced the destruction of the enemy's most important fuel and energy infrastructure facilities. The post was published on the military department's official Telegram channel. According to the Ministry of Defense, one of the affected targets was one of Russia's largest oil refineries in the Nizhny Novgorod region, Stovo, where the maximum processing capacity reaches approximately 17 to 18 million tons of oil per year. Explosions and a major fire occurred at this facility. The extent of the damage is being investigated. A hit was also confirmed at the Sterlitamak petrochemical plant in Bashkortostan, a plant that produces components for aviation kerosene and other critical chemical products. According to preliminary information, one of the plant's workshops sustained significant damage, which could reduce the production of key components for the enemy's aviation industry. The results are being clarified. Furthermore, the Ministry of Defense noted the damage to a fuel and lubricants depot in the temporarily occupied territory of the Kherson region. Approximately 20 tanks, with a total capacity of approximately 900 cubic meters of fuel, were destroyed, and 2 pumping stations were disabled. These losses directly impact Russia's logistics in the southern direction. Unmanned aerial vehicle forces, specifically operators of the 14th Separate Unmanned Aerial System Regiment, reported conducting a deep strike on the Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery in coordination with other defense units. The report stated that air and ground components of the refinery's infrastructure were hit, resulting in a series of explosions and a fire within the complex. According to the operators, such deep strike attacks consistently reduce the aggressor's ability to continue offensive operations. Special Operations Forces also confirmed their participation in the Night campaign. Special Operations Forces units struck both the petrochemical plant in Sterlitamak and the Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery, acting in cooperation with the main intelligence directorate and the security service. The Ukrainian command explains the series of strikes as having the overall goal of weakening Russia's military, economic and offensive potential by depriving the enemy of the ability to reliably supply the front with fuel and aviation components. Damage to these facilities could have a long-term impact on the supply and mobility of Russian troops. This isn't the first successful strike against these facilities in 2025. The Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery, in particular, has been hit before, and the current operation is the latest step in the systematic pressure on the infrastructure supporting the aggressor's military capabilities. Official agencies continue to determine the extent of the destruction and assess the impact on the enemy's rear. Ukrainian drones attacked Lukoil Nizhnegorodneft Tiosyntez, one of Russia's leading oil refineries. The refinery supplies fuel to the Moscow region, which accounts for approximately 30% of the country's gasoline consumption. Media was informed of this by sources in the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Ukrainian kamikaze drones controlled by operators from the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense, the Armed Forces and the Special Operations Forces carried out a raid on the Lukoil Nizhnegorodneft Tiosyntez oil refinery in Stovo, Nizhny Novgorod Oblast, Russia. The source noted. According to a source, more than 50 Ukrainian-made drones were used in the attack on the night of November the 4th, including the Boba and FP-1 drones. According to the source, the attack occurred during repairs to a distillation column responsible for primary oil processing and which had been damaged in previous attacks. Sergei Lavrov may lose his post as foreign minister, pro-Kremlin channels are hinting. President Vladimir Putin, according to them, is ready to get rid of the most senior member of his government. The reason is the high-profile scandals surrounding the Russian diplomat. When Lavrov assumed office in 2004, he enjoyed a relatively strong reputation, both domestically and internationally, having spent 10 years representing Russia at the United Nations. While he has managed to retain his position, his reputation has been left in ruins. In September 2024, Ukraine's permanent representative to the United Nations, Sergei Kyslytsya, hinted at Lavrov's potential demise in a social media post. For some Russian war criminals, dying in their beds in elite suburbs may seem like an easy way out. Even if they escape the courtroom, they'll head straight to hell to burn there forever. Skipping purgatory. Investigative journalists believe Lavrov has close ties to billionaire Oleg Deripaska, allegedly lobbying for his interests. Lavrov reportedly assisted Deripaska in securing a US visa and dismissed Western sanctions against Deripaska's businesses as Russophobia bordering on genocide. Given this relationship, it is plausible that Deripaska finances Lavrov's opulent vacations, such as yacht rentals costing $500,000 a week, private jet trips, and luxury real estate in what Lavrov publicly derides as decadent Europe. The failures of Russian diplomacy in recent years has led Putin to become dissatisfied with Lavrov. Russia is in a state of international diplomatic isolation, and Putin believes that Lavrov is also responsible for this. But some Russian political telegram channels reported earlier on the possible transfer of Sergei Lavrov to the Federation Council. The new foreign minister will be a transitional, technical figure, a diplomat. The current climate is not conducive to Lavrov's replacement being a prominent media or political figure. The replacement minister must demonstrate a new diplomatic vector or, conversely, a technological approach and a hardening of previous positions. Lavrov's move to the Federation Council is possible, with Sergei Naryshkin, director of the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, taking his place. Lavrov began his diplomatic career in 1972 at the Soviet Embassy in Sri Lanka. Gordon reports. He was first appointed Russian Foreign Minister on March 9, 2004. Lavrov was reappointed to this position 5 times: in May 2004, September 2007, May 2008, May 2012, and May 2018. He was most recently appointed head of the Russian Foreign Ministry on January 21, 2020.